Section 1. The revelation they thought we wouldn't notice. For years, the government has siphoned off billions of dollars for questionable projects and luxurious perks, all funded by hardworking taxpayers. But now, the truth is out, and the numbers are more shocking than anyone imagined. Elon Musk's newly established Department of Government Efficiency, Doge, claims to have uncovered over $32 billion in wasteful spending. And that's just the beginning. This isn't just about mismanagement. It's about systemic abuse of public funds while ordinary people struggle to make ends meet. Imagine pouring your paycheck into taxes, only to learn that money helped fund extravagant office furniture, unnecessary research studies, and private jet travel for politicians. People are waking up, realizing that the very institutions claiming to protect and serve are draining resources to maintain their own lavish lifestyles. If this waste continues, it won't just be an economic issue. It could trigger a collapse of public trust in critical services. The warning signs are already there, and time is running out to prepare. If you want to stay ahead of what's coming, subscribe now. Knowledge is your best defense, and survival starts with understanding the truth. Section 2. The Discovery. When Elon Musk took on the challenge of streamlining government efficiency, he never expected to find such staggering corruption. His team at Doge pored over mountains of spending records, uncovering ridiculous expenses hidden in plain sight. We're talking about gold-plated office supplies, six-figure catering bills for meetings, and even funding for bizarre research, like whether squirrels could be trained to dance under stress. This isn't satire. These are real expenditures buried in federal budgets, justified as necessary for progress. But who benefits from a golden desk lamp? Certainly not the average citizen struggling to afford groceries. It's almost as if the system is designed to bleed the people dry, funneling wealth upward while leaving communities to crumble. Musk's findings sent shockwaves through Washington. Politicians scrambled to explain the waste, blaming bureaucratic oversight or claiming the costs were overestimated. But the documents don't lie. And if this much waste has been found already, how much more is hidden? The government may hope we stop looking, but the people are paying attention. And those who understand what's happening are already taking steps to protect themselves from the fallout. Section 3. The numbers. The waste wasn't just in the millions. It totaled over $32 billion. That's enough to rebuild crumbling infrastructure, fund education, or provide vital healthcare services. Instead, it went to unnecessary luxury and failed projects. Imagine what your community could do with a fraction of that money. Safer roads, better schools, reliable public services. But that's not where the funds went. Here's just a sample of what Doge uncovered. $2.3 million to upgrade office furniture in government buildings, including $10,000 leather chairs. $1.6 million spent on studies determining why sandwiches taste better when cut diagonally. $15 billion in abandoned defense projects that never left the planning stage. $500,000 for personalized gym equipment for high-level officials. These expenses add up, draining national resources while citizens face rising costs of living. And the worst part? This is likely just the tip of the iceberg. Musk himself admitted that they may have only scratched the surface, hinting that trillions could be lost to corruption over decades. If this doesn't set off alarm bells, nothing will. The system is bloated, broken, and on the verge of collapse. And the countdown has already begun. Section 4. The Fallout. When government waste is exposed, the natural reaction might be outrage. But what happens next is even more dangerous. When spending gets cut, so do public services. And when trust in the system erodes, people panic. Imagine a scenario where essential programs are defunded overnight. Public transit shuts down, emergency services get stretched thin, and infrastructure repairs are delayed indefinitely. We've seen glimpses of this already. Budget cuts leading to understaffed hospitals, police forces spread too thin, and entire communities left without reliable utilities. If wasteful spending continues, these cracks in the system could widen until everything breaks. And when public services fail, chaos follows. People will rush to grocery stores, emptying shelves within hours. Gas stations will run dry. Banks may limit withdrawals as panic spreads. And those caught unprepared could face weeks or months of hardship. This isn't a distant dystopian future. It's the logical result of a system that's collapsing under its own weight. The time to prepare isn't after the fall. It's now. Start building your food reserves, learn self-sufficiency, and have a plan for when public services disappear. Because if this waste continues, society as we know it may not hold much longer. Section 5. The collapse begins. The moment people lose faith in the system, things start to break down. When Elon Musk's Doge report hit the public, trust in government spending plummeted. People realized their taxes weren't going to build safer communities or improve public services. They were funding extravagant perks for politicians and failed projects that never benefited the public. Once that illusion shattered, the dominoes started falling. Government departments began slashing budgets to cover for the waste. But they didn't cut the luxuries. They cut essential services. Sanitation crews reduced routes, public transportation scaled back, and emergency services became overwhelmed. Imagine calling 911 and being told no one can come for hours. Picture water systems failing because maintenance crews were let go. These aren't distant possibilities. They're the natural outcome of a government more invested in protecting itself than its people. And as services fail, the public reacts with panic. Grocery stores empty out in days, ATMs run out of cash, and people start turning on each other out of fear and desperation. The infrastructure we rely on is more fragile than we think, and once it starts to crumble, there's no quick fix. The collapse has already begun. The question is whether you'll be ready when it hits your doorstep. Section 6. The chaos unfolds. When systems break, chaos fills the void. History shows us that when public services falter, communities can spiral into disorder. People who once trusted the system to protect and provide for them suddenly face harsh realities: food shortages, power outages, and unchecked crime. Imagine waking up to news reports of riots in major cities. People looting stores not just for luxury goods but for basic necessities like water and canned food. Without steady supply chains, store shelves stay empty. And when people can't access the essentials, they turn desperate. Law enforcement, stretched thin by budget cuts, can't keep up. The National Guard might step in, but even they have limits. And as the unrest spreads, entire neighborhoods could become unsafe zones. Roads blocked by makeshift barricades, neighbors turning against each other, and once peaceful communities transforming into survival battlegrounds. This isn't just a doomsday fantasy. It's the logical result of systemic collapse, and those who aren't prepared will face the brunt of it. If you haven't already started building your survival plan, now is the time. Stockpile essentials, secure your home, and create a network of trusted allies. Because once the chaos starts, it may not stop for a long time. Section 7. The Prepper's warning. Preppers have been sounding the alarm for years. They've been labeled paranoid or extreme, but every major event of instability proves them right. When COVID-19 hit, stores ran out of food and supplies within days. And that was just a glimpse of how quickly society can unravel. The Doge findings are another flashing red warning sign. The government's wastefulness isn't just frustrating, it's dangerous. It shows that the people in charge aren't planning for long-term stability. They're living in excess while ignoring the slow-motion collapse happening all around them. That's why preppers don't wait for disaster. They prepare for it. They build food reserves, learn self-defense, and map out escape routes. They understand that when the system fails, survival falls on the individual. And the only way to make it through the storm is to be ready before it hits. If you're just starting, don't panic, but don't delay. Begin by stocking up on essentials: water, non-perishable food, medical supplies. Learn practical skills like gardening, first aid, and water purification. The more self-sufficient you become, the less vulnerable you'll be when society starts to fracture. Section 8. The bunker life. For some, preparation goes beyond stockpiling. It's about building a fortress. Across the country, people are constructing underground bunkers, off-grid cabins, and secure compounds designed to withstand long-term disasters. And they might not be overreacting. If public services fail and civil unrest spreads, a bunker could be the safest place to ride out the chaos. These underground shelters, equipped with air filtration systems, solar panels, and years' worth of food, are designed to keep people alive while the world outside burns. Living in a bunker might sound extreme, but if supply chains collapse and rioting turns violent, having a secure location could mean the difference between life and death. And you don't need to dig a massive underground complex to prepare. Even a well-secured home with proper fortifications and supply reserves can be a survival stronghold. The point is to think long-term. Where will you go if your town becomes unsafe? How will you stay warm if the power grid fails? What will you eat if grocery stores shut down? These are the questions preppers ask every day, and finding the answers now could save your life later. Section 9. The final warning. The Doge revelations were a wake-up call, but they might be the last one we get. If the government is this reckless with spending, imagine how poorly they'll handle an actual crisis. And if a financial collapse or infrastructure breakdown happens, we can't count on those responsible for the waste to fix it. We're on our own. And the people who accept that reality will be the ones who survive. The warning signs are everywhere. Rising prices, overburdened services, global instability. All it takes is one major event to push the fragile system over the edge. Now is the time to act. Build your stockpile. Learn survival skills. Create a community of people you can trust. And most importantly, don't rely on the government to save you. Because when the collapse comes, they'll be the first to lock their doors and disappear into their luxury bunkers, leaving the rest of us to fend for ourselves. Section 10. The call to action. The clock is ticking, and every day we inch closer to a breaking point. But you don't have to face the future unprepared. You can start building your survival plan right now. And I'm here to help you do it. Subscribe to this channel for practical prepping tips, gear reviews, and in-depth breakdowns of what's happening in the world. I'll show you how to secure your home, grow your own food, and defend your family if things turn violent. We're building a community of people ready to weather the storm, and you're invited. Because survival isn't just about having supplies, it's about having knowledge. And the more you learn now, the better your chances when society starts to crumble. The government wasted billions of our dollars. Don't let them waste your future too. The truth is out and there's no going back. The government's reckless spending, the fragile infrastructure, and the looming threat of societal collapse. It's all real, and it's all happening faster than most people realize. But you don't have to be caught off guard. You can take control of your future, protect your loved ones, and build a life that doesn't crumble when the system does. Preparation is power. Every can of food you store, every skill you learn, and every plan you make brings you one step closer to survival. The world might spiral into chaos, but those who prepare will stand a chance, and you don't have to do it alone. Subscribe to Doomsday-Prepper for weekly survival tips, gear reviews, and strategies to help you weather whatever comes next. Whether you're a seasoned prepper or just getting started, we're building a community of people ready to face the future head-on. Because when the lights go out and the world falls apart, it won't be the strongest who survive. It'll be the most prepared. Subscribe now, and let's get ready for whatever comes next.